Southern Nazarene defeats East Central 75-56, and we're here with head coach Adam Bohac. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on another tremendous win. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Jonathan. Thursday, you played the number 1 team in the GAC when it comes to scoring offense, and you held them to 57. You played the number 2 team in the GAC in scoring offense today, and you held them to 56. Just talk about the defensive effort.
Yeah, defense is a team thing, and so that's the part that's most encouraging to me, James, is to guard well. It takes the whole team, and so we were really united and together this week, and maybe more so than we've been in the past couple weeks. And so that's why I think we were better defensively. So that's really encouraging going forward.
I want to talk a little bit about, it feels like, early in the game, obviously, feeling each other out, couple baskets, East Central's getting a few to fall. It seems like you had Coleman Edwards come off the bench. Jonathan gets a little foul trouble, and Coleman hits a couple three-pointers, hits 3 in that first half, and it really seemed to spark everybody a little bit. Talk about him coming off the bench and kind of providing that lift, especially on the offensive end.
I thought it was really neat the way the bench responded, as you mentioned, James, the way our team responded. And they responded that way because they were happy for Cole, but they weren't happy because he made a three-point shot. They were happy because they've seen him pay his dues in practice every day and not have a poor attitude any days. And because he's done that, when one goes in, the guys know that he's going to make it, and they know that he deserves it, and that's the response. And so that was a shot in the arm, and a credit to Cole for really practicing well the last several weeks.
Talk a little bit, Jonathan, we just spoke with him. He goes 9 of 12 from the field tonight, 22 points. Micah, slow start in the first half, but really responded huge in the second half with 15 points. Also had 7 assists, 3 steals. You had RJ with some big minutes off the bench. You guys, obviously it's never easy on the road, but you guys have struggled a little bit shooting from the field a little bit. So talk about these guys getting in their rhythm, sticking with it, and starting to see some shots go down and what you're kind of seeing from them.
Yeah, I thought, we played with a little more confidence maybe on offense, and we shared it a lot more. Jonathan was way more efficient. We moved it better, and we maybe passed up the first one to get a little bit better one and cut better and move the ball better and screen better, and I think that's why we shot it better.
All right, we talked about it Thursday, but I've got to talk about him again. I've got to talk about Zach Johnson. He gets another tough matchup with Cameron Talley. And, yes, Cameron had 20 points, but it was an 8 of 17 day, somewhat inefficient, 17 shots, only 20 points. And talk about Zach Johnson, how he sparks this team on the defensive end and what he's able to do.
Yeah, I thought Zach got off to a slow start, the first 4 or 5 minutes there. And Cameron, boy, he can cut. And so, he's a guy you have to guard before he ever gets it, and you have to guard him the whole time he doesn't have it. And I think that's what a really good offensive player does. You have to guard him the whole time, and that's a credit to their scheme and things. But I thought that when Zach came back in the game, he was dialed in and maybe had a little bit better idea or feel on how he was going to maneuver around out there, and then he got it back on track.
Absolutely. All right, going forward, this concludes a 4-game road trip. You guys get to come back to the Sawyer Center. Obviously, we got a couple days before Thursday, but obviously very exciting always to come back home and just talk about the excitement from the team, from the coaching staff, just to come back to your home crowd. It's really going to be the first true home game with the students back on campus and everything, and some big things going on there. So just talk about the excitement to be back on your home floor this weekend.
Yeah, I know the guys are excited to be at home, but I think we're most excited, James, just to we can feel some momentum of good play. When you play good for a few games in a row or play hard, you can build a little momentum within your season, and so I'm excited to see how that carries over into practice next week and how much better we can get next week before we play at home on Thursday.
We're going to close this broadcast out. SNU defeats East Central 75-56, and it's a couple of wins today. The women, we talked about last week, the women, what a win by them. They come from behind and get a big win as well, 63-60. So we thank you for joining us here live from A.